Hello and welcome to the Instructional Partnership Initiative Overview. Thanks so much for joining us today. Just to give you a sense of who you're listening to, my name is Michael Neal. I work at Vanderbilt University as a researcher in leadership, policy, and organizations. I represent a much larger team working across universities in the Tennessee Department of Education, and I hope to distill some of the insights of our many team members into a few minutes today during this webinar. So in terms of what we're going to try to accomplish today, we're going to give you a little overview of the Instructional Partnership Initiative, going to explain how we make matches, teacher matches, and also provide some resources for more information for you. So let's jump right in to an overview. So IPI began with the realization that teacher evaluation has yet to fulfill its promise in the sense that teacher evaluation is widespread, but we don't have a lot of evidence that it leads to instructional improvement. So researchers at Brown and Harvard put their heads together to think about what could we design that would use teacher evaluation data to really effectively result in instructional improvement. IPI is based on 4 key ideas. That is, we wanted to use evaluation data to help teachers get better. We wanted to make this something easy for principals, and we wanted to make it free for schools, and most importantly, be able to leverage in-school expertise. So in terms of how IPI works, researchers use indicator-level classroom observation data to propose one-to-one teacher partnerships. Then principals or their designee receive a partnership list from TDOE, and they can make refinements if they want to, changes to the list. And secondly, they meet with each partnership, each pair of teachers, and kick off the IPI partnerships. Then those teacher partners develop their own goals and make a plan for the year for what they want to do in terms of improvement. So just to give you a sense of what the principal receives, you can take a look at this list right here, and you'll see that we have an identified teacher, Lacey, and you can see the O's represent an area or areas of needed improvement, right, in specific indicators, and these are averages from last year's evaluations, right? So you can take a look at Lacey's across that top row. Then you can see the recommended partner, and that's Linnea, right? The X's are the areas that Linnea scored a 4 or higher in particular indicators. And you can already kind of see that Linnea and Lacey have some areas where they naturally match up. But you may decide, Lacey and Linnea are not going to work well together for whatever reason, right? So then you can take a look at Deborah as a potential partner for Lacey, right? So we see again that Deborah has a number of areas in which she scored a 4 or higher. That's what the X indicates. And some of these match up well with Lacey's areas where she scored below a 3. So we'll talk a little more in a minute about exactly how the matches are made, and if you're wondering more about that, we'll get into that. But let's just briefly look at what do teachers do. Frankly, the teacher partnerships can develop their own working relationship and do what they see best. There's not a curriculum or a program that teachers have to do. However, they're not alone. We provide guidance through a partnership guidebook, web resources, and regular email contact, and I'll give you that information in just a few minutes. You might be wondering, what kind of things do teachers do when they participate in IPI? Those who are participating now, what do they do? Well, partners get together and they set goals to improve in certain indicators. They meet after a formal observation with a principal maybe and look at the feedback the principal gave and determine what might be a next step for improving in a certain indicator. They develop strategies for improvement focused on feedback from the principal or focused around an indicator. They might observe each other's classrooms and watch practices and refine their teaching strategies. We've seen teachers plan lessons together and follow up on their goals throughout the year and the commitments that they initially made. So in terms of what's great about IPI, personalized professional learning. It offers job-embedded professional development. Teacher collaboration, right? So structure and improve collaboration. It leverages expertise within a school. It offers indicator level focus. It focuses on collaboration and improvement on specific practice areas. It also offers school and teacher adaptation, designed to be flexible at the school and partnership level. More than half of Tennessee districts have schools implementing IPI. It's been running for several years now, and there's lots of folks around the state that are involved. If you're not sold yet, I want to encourage you to consider that IPI improves teacher effectiveness and student achievement. When we ran this study 3 years ago, and did a randomized control trial, we saw large gains both in math and reading for the schools that participated in IPI, even bigger gains for the individual teachers who participated in IPI. We also saw other broader changes. Especially interesting there is attitudes of teachers toward the evaluation system improved in schools that participated in IPI. Principals that we talk to tend to like IPI because it offers concrete strategy for feedback and benefits for their school with individualized professional development, and it's a reasonable time investment both for the principal and the teacher. So you may be thinking, I'd like to know a little more about making the matches and how the matches are made. So let's dig into that just a little bit and give you a sense of what we do on our end to get you a productive list when you log into the IPI portal as a principal. So step one for making matches is for each teacher, we generate a list of areas of instructional practice which needs improvement, right? So we identify areas of need improvement using indicator level scores from a teacher's team classroom observation. For each indicator, we calculate the average of all observations from the prior school year. And if that indicator average score is less than 3, then this area counts as a needs improvement area. So take a look at this generated list right here, right? On the left side, you'll notice that we've named our teachers red, blue, green, Miss Red, Miss Blue, Miss Green, Mr. Yellow, Mr. Orange, whatever. And you'll notice the ones that we've highlighted are the areas that we would count as needs improvement. That is, the average score was less than 3 in that indicator. So step 2 for matching teachers is for each teacher, we list the areas of instructional practice which are strengths. That is, we identify areas which are strengths using the same indicator average scores. If that indicator average score is greater than or equal to 4, then the area is a strength. So you'll notice in the list we've generated there, Miss Yellow, Mr. Orange, Miss Purple, all have strengths in those areas that are highlighted in green. Step 3 is for each possible pair of teachers, we calculate the number of areas in which a needs improvement could be matched to a strength. For example, you might take a look at this right here. Green and orange have 1 match. Can you see that? Blue and brown have 5 matches. So again, we can summarize all the possible pairs in a table where the entries are the number of needs improvements to strengths matches. So if you take a look at this table, red and brown would end up with 18 matches on needs improvement and strength. This would be a very strong match. So step 4 of this matching process is we find the combination of pairings that maximizes the number of needs improvement to strength matches in the school. So in this example, again, the pairs are red, brown, blue, yellow, green, orange. So the goal is to optimize pairings for the school. Notice that for green, yellow or brown would be better matched than orange, but yellow is best paired with blue and brown with red. So I would encourage you to take a look at your matches. We've actually generated matches for your school, and you can log into the IPI portal and take a look at the matches for your school. They're totally changeable. You can adjust them. You can choose the ones that work for you and your school. And you can also ask us to add teachers if you've had changes or teachers that maybe aren't on the list. I would also ask you to consider, how can we, TDOE and its partners, best support you in your work with IPI? Are you thinking about going for this and taking it up? Visit the IPI website. We've also got another webinar on promising practices and predictable problems. That might be a good place to visit next, or in the coming days as you decide how you want to roll out IPI in your school. We've got guidebooks and other materials that we can get to you free of charge, also available online. Do you want to talk to someone? Would you like to talk to a researcher or someone at TDOE about this? We can make that happen. Simply email the email I'm going to provide to you and just provided to you a moment ago. What else? Are there other things? Please reach out to us. There again is the IPI website. You can go there for a principal link. There's also a teacher link and more information than you would ever want. And if you have questions that we can immediately answer, please email Michelle Mills, and that is her email right there. Thank you so much for participating in this webinar on IPI Overview.